Hello, Bernie and Louise. How's it going? You can hear us?
Louise, can you hear us?
No, I think she's probably held out, Darren, by the administrator there now. I'm guessing.
Okay.
I just wanted to check in with him, that's all.
I think they were trying to connect audio, but it's not connecting. Maybe it
Right.
isn't.
So I think you're probably on mute there now by the administrator, the guy who's putting it together. So you can hear us, right, Louise? Just nod. No? So it's probably on our end, Louise, as to why you can't, we can't hear you. Because I've told Darren, and for if Bernie and Louise can hear me, I told the administrator that we're going to bring them in during the presentation, petitions, and visitors. So it'll be a few minutes before they'll take that off, I guess. Bernie, Louise, can you hear me? Just nod if you can hear me. You cannot hear? Yeah. Okay, so I think the administrator is going to bring you in on about the third or fourth item agenda. So, and then we can have a little chat then. You
She's
good?
just got her machine on mute there now, Terry, but it looks good.
Yeah. Okay, I think she's gone there now, is she? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're all here? Is Brian, okay, we're all here. So we might as well get ready to go. First of all, call the word of the regular meeting for May 19, 2020. It's 7 o'clock. We're a little bit late, not too bad. First of all, the adoption of agendas and minutes. Adoption of the meeting agenda for May 19, 2020.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Seconder. Adoption of the meeting minutes for May 5th, 2020.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No good on that stuff. Against, motion carried. Business arising from previous minutes. Being none. Before we get into new business, I'm probably going to do visitors' presentations and petitions first, if that's okay with everyone. And on the line there now, are on with us this afternoon, we have Louise and Bernie Mercer. Louise and Bernie, can you hear me? Are you there?
We don't have video though. I can see you on video. Can you see us?
Gee. I think it's because they have the agenda up, so maybe we can get them to take the agenda down. He'll take the
Okay.
agenda down now, and should be all connected there. All right.
Okay, there we go.
There we go. So we thought it important to bring you guys to our meeting tonight, and even though it's not traditional sense of the meeting, certainly a whole different sense of meetings than what we've all been trying to get used to. And I don't have to tell you guys about that, what you guys just did,
Yes, no, for sure.
following COVID rules and so on. So you're well experienced in this field too. And I just wanted to thank you for what you did. And, you know, it's I like to, refer to it as a tragedy, but that don't seem to describe what you guys have done with the loss of Alex and Riley. And what you've done, I guess, for our communities, you've taken what must be a horrific event and you've turned certain celebrations, certain events into celebrations, as was their birthday party. And through the celebration of their life, you've done tremendous things for the town of Conception Bay South. And I guess nothing is truer than with your food drive, that your annual food drive that you just had. And I think I signed on and had a look, and it was at 20,000, and I near died. I was in shock, and then it went on to be 25,900.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to bring you on and thank you from our town to what you've done and what you're doing. And, certainly if you wanted to provide any comments, great. If not, that's great too. But again, it's a true honor to know you guys for a long, long time. And what you're doing is just a remarkable piece of work. And I'm sure, many of our councillors speak of the things that you do. And I guess none more than Darren. Certainly Darren has always been a advocate for many of the events that you've taken on. And that's not to take anything away from some of the other councillors who've been promoting it as well. But I know it's been close to Darren for a long, long time. So I know, Darren, if you'd like anything to say, by all means.
Well, sure, Terry, thank you. And Bernie and Louise, thanks for coming on this evening. I know that, when we first met and chatted about what to do this year, and the suggestion was a virtual online. I know you had some trepidation about it because you were concerned about whether it would work or not work and how people would take to it at this difficult time. But I think the proof's in the pudding. The people embraced this effort wholeheartedly. The support was tremendous. I think actually the total was somewhere around 28,000 now at the end of the day, somewhere in that. The outpouring and support from the people around here is fantastic, and I'm so glad that they came out to support this virtual style of food drive, because I know that the money is as valuable to the food bank as the food. And I just wanted to say thank you to you guys for taking this on and doing the work and doing the presentations every day on Facebook, coming on and promoting it, and it really worked. And what it worked for was for the people in need in our community. So it was great to have this year. It was great to be able to honor the memories of Alex and Riley again on their birthday in such a phenomenal and important way for the citizens of Conception Bay South. So thank you, Louise and Bernie, again.
Thank you very much. The food drive was a big success. We had a goal of 20,000. I was a little scared that we wouldn't meet that goal, but in the end, we ended up with 28,355, which is amazing. Yeah, totally amazing, and it'll help the food bank for a while, at least get them through the summer, hopefully, at least. And all we want to do is continue our children's legacy. And this community is our children's community, and what better place to continue their legacy but right here in CBS. So we're hoping to be around for a long time coming with our events, and and continue to do good for the community. And we appreciate all your help, guys, and your support and your donations. So thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. I don't know if anyone else got anything they wanted to add to that. Feel free. But again, guys, thanks very much. You can stick around and watch the rest of the meeting and maybe be bored to death, but you can zoom out or you can stay on and disappear and listen in. Is up to yourselves. But again, thanks very much on behalf of all of us here in the town. Thanks.
All right. Thanks for the acknowledgement. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So moving right along, where are we to here? First proclamation of the evening is National Public Works Week. Whereas public work professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of Newfoundland and Labrador. And whereas these infrastructure, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals, or engineers, managers, and employees of provincial and municipal governments and the private sector who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas it is in the public interest of the citizens, civic leaders, and children in Canada to gain knowledge of and to maintain a progressive interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. Whereas the year 2020 marks the 60th annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association and the Canadian Public Works Association, be it now. Be it so resolved, I, Terry French, Mayor of Conception Bay South, do hereby designate the week of May the 17th to the 23rd, 2020 as National Public Works Week. I urge all our people to join with representatives of the Canadian Public Works Association and government agencies in activities, events, and ceremonies designed to pay tribute to our public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees, and to recognize the substantial contribution they make to protecting our national health, safety, and quality of life. And certainly want to acknowledge, of course, our director, Jennifer Norris, and of course, all the staff that works under her who are doing it day in, day out for the town of Conception Bay South. And I might add in a whole load of different circumstances than they usually would carry out their day-to-day activities, and having to deal with all the issues with COVID and distancing from one another. So again, I want to thank them for what they do and look after all of us on a day-to-day basis. And you know, from the outside, sometimes looking in, you say, well, oh, they got it knocked. And, you know, I've heard that comment, those kinds of comments many times. But let me tell you, in some of the times that these people are out in all kinds of weather, just to make sure that we can get up in the morning and get a shower, or in fire protection and snow clearing and so many others, certainly nice to take our hat off to them, recognize what they do for our town. The second one, proclamations Early Childhood Educators Week, whereas the Association of Early Childhood Educators of Newfoundland and Labrador represents those working in childcare and related fields throughout the province, and whereas early childhood educators provide developmentally appropriate care and education to children from birth to age 12 in a variety of settings, and whereas such care and education fosters the social, emotional, cognitive, and physical growth and development of these children and supports families in a variety of ways, and whereas this support of children and families ensures the future health of our society, therefore I hereby proclaim the week of May 24th to May 30th, 2020 as Provincial Early Childhood Educators Week. So on that note, certainly we've all experienced childcare and had to deal with it, many of us, and certainly want to acknowledge the people that provide that. A service, I don't know if it's a service or a passion for bringing up the children of our community. So again, thank you very much for that. So now we'll kind of double back, I guess, to new business. So starting the new business, we'll start off with Deputy Mayor Murphy.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mayor French. No, I really don't have a whole lot to say. I'd just like to echo your comments with respect to the National Public Works Week. You know, the year 2020 has been a very, very trying year. And from the get-go, it's Snowmageddon back in January. And then you got the COVID. Plus, we've been hit with major water main breaks here in Conception Bay South, unfortunately. And our public works staff have been on the job when necessary, day in, day out, night in, night out. And again, hats off to them. And of course, during this pandemic issue, you know, we're constantly thanking our frontline workers, nurses, doctors, grocery store clerks, everybody. But, you know, sometimes we forget about the important people who are working behind the scene. And that would be our public works people. So congratulations. I hope to have a real good public works week. It's too bad they can't get together and have a barbecue or something. But yeah. Anyway, thank you very much, Jennifer, and your crew. We very, very much appreciate it. That's it for me, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, next we have Councillor Uden.
Yeah, a couple of things. Just like echo Deputy Mayor Murphy's comments. By and large, you know, we receive complaints from time to time, but for the work they do, Jennifer and her staff certainly do the town proud on a number of occasions and throughout the whole year. Just a couple of things. This week, as you know, we announced the closure or the cancellation of 3 or 4 events, public events like Pirate Day, our event at the Still, the soiree. They would not be able to happen under, I guess, the current conditions in terms of public gatherings. with the restrictions from the province. But you know, we're going to continue, and our staff are going to continue to see what we can do in terms of how do we celebrate those virtually or in different ways. And I guess stay tuned with regards to that. The second thing is a lot of queries and questions with regards to our summer camps. Once the provincial government announces, I guess, the new operating procedures and we reach the appropriate level for those things to happen, the town will make a decision with respect to our summer camps. I know a lot of people, as they go back to work, certainly going to be in demand. So stay tuned. The last piece, just a reminder, we opened Worsley and Topsail Beach in the last week. And it's great that people get to go out and do that. And just a reminder, whether it be at one of those locations or at the trails throughout the town, keep your 2 meters for social distancing purposes. We want to move forward, not back. So just keep social distancing in mind when you're out and about. That's it for me, Your Worship. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Uden. Councillor Tilley.
Thank you, Worship. I'm going to pass on this evening because a few things that I was going to talk about has already been mentioned. So on to the next person.
That's right. Thank you. Councillor Hillier.
Yes, Your Worship. Just want to take a moment this evening to pass along our condolences to the family of the late Bill Alcock, who passed away this week. Bill touched a lot of people in our town in a lot of different ways. I know I got to know him through his involvement in minor baseball, and I know he brought the passion that he brought to minor baseball. My understanding is the passion that he brought to everything that he did, and so I just want to take a moment this evening to remember Bill and pass along our condolences.
Very good. Thank you, Councillor Hillier. Councillor Bent.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just want to echo Councillor Hillier in expressing condolences to Bill Alcock's family. You know, a great volunteer, and they don't come along very often of the quality of Mr. Alcock, and certainly involved in just about everything through Rotary and any events and raising money for community events and all of that. It's just it is a great loss, and very sorry to hear of his passing. Just on a community note, Your Worship, I just wanted to touch on one thing, and that has to do with Topsail Beach and Worsley Park and areas around, certainly in Ward 1, but throughout the town. But it's great that we've got them open. We have some of the best scenery around, and it's great for people to be able to go out and enjoy that, you know, especially during this time. However, I'd like to ask all visitors to these areas, especially Topsail Beach, but all the areas, to be, when you're entering through, to be mindful that you're passing through a residential area. So please keep the speeds down. Be mindful of area residents. Try not to roar the engines, making their lives a little less peaceful. They are, of course, used to the summertime activity of people coming and going, but this year, due to COVID-19, that activity started in April. So it's a 2 or 3 extra months of activity, a lot of traffic going back and forth. So please be mindful of this, and you know, just keep that in mind when you're traveling through these areas throughout the community, Your Worship. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Bent. Councillor Bursey.
Yes, Your Worship, a couple of things this evening. His mayor friend stated is this year's theme for National Public Works Week is the rhythm of public works. This theme challenges our members and their citizens to think about their communities as a symphony of essential services, working in concert, creating a great place to live. Every community has a rhythm, a heartbeat, and that reflects its essence and tempo of life. Public Works keeps the community's rhythm moving by providing an orchestra of infrastructure services in transportation, water, wastewater, and stormwater treatment. Public Works buildings and spaces, parks and grounds, emergency management and first response, solid waste, the right-of-way to management. Public Works provides the harmony needed for collaboration within all these stakeholders in the capital projects, infrastructure, solutions, and the quality of life services. The challenges of 2020 have touched everyone, but through these times, public works staff continue to provide the essential services our community needs to help bridge the gap to normalcy and household simple day-to-day routines. And the second thing I'd like to speak about, Your Worship, is the emergency water main repairs. Emergency water main repairs began today along the Conception Bay Highway upper gullies between Coulter Road and Aries Road. The repair work is located near the bridge and requires a cautious, phased approach to minimize the disruption and maintain structural integrity. And it's anticipated that the repairs will take 1 week. The area of Conception Bay Highway will be closed to motorists during this time. Motorists are asked to use alternate routes. Please use cautious and respect construction workers' equipment when traveling near construction zones, or you can visit the town website for update as they become available. And we can take the residents of CBS for the patience and cooperation at this time. That's all seen from me, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Mercy. Councillor Butler.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just a couple of things right now. I'll have a little bit more when it's turnaround committee time. Just a reminder to residents, the weather's been so beautiful and the walkers are on the go, and I'm one of them. And I certainly enjoy walking every evening here in CBS. But just a couple of trail etiquette reminders for our residents. Please stay to the right when using our trail networks and allow for safe, distant passage of trail users. Please ensure that your pets are on a leash and tidy up after them. If you're traveling along the trails at your 6 feet distance, if you're coughing or sneezing, increase your elbow, like so. And maybe you shouldn't be out walking around if you're not feeling too good. Avoid unnecessary contact and stay home if you are ill. And washing your hands is superior to reduce the spread of the virus. And I'd just like to say, congratulations to our Holy Spirit. I think that's backwards there, isn't it? But the Holy Spirit and Queenie grads of 2020. I know this year is a little different for you all, but I'm sure you'll find your unique way to celebrate your graduation, no doubt. And I'm sure we'll see a little bit more of that in the community over the next few days. Thank you, Your Worship.
Well done, Councillor Butler, for mentioning our grads. Good job. Councillor Davis.
Yes, Your Worship, I had a couple of things, but they've been well covered, so I'll pass.
Okay, thank you very much, Councillor Davis. Just a couple of things. I too want to reiterate what a couple have said about Mr. Billy Alcock. You know, I can't tell you the number of Rotary events that I was involved in that he was there, of course, front and center, always a prominent volunteer with Rotary, and for that is certainly noted. And, you know, he was always one of the earliest people to come over to me when I attended and welcomed me and had a chat with me and made me feel comfortable, regardless of what I was to a Rotary event for. He was always one of the first to come forward. And I had many conversations with him over the years, of course, at mostly Rotary events. And I mean, just last year he chaired, or he was the MC for naming the baseball field, as Councillor Hillier said about baseball, after Mr. Crosby. So, you know, a consummate volunteer. And ironically enough, I worked currently at the Construction Labor Relations Association, where Mr. Alcock had my job many, many moons ago. And, you know, of all the times we met and joked and had fun and talked about the town, I don't think we ever talked about work once. And it's too bad looking back on it. Not for any reason other than I guess we had more fun things to talk about probably at the time. But anyway, my condolences certainly go out to him, his family, his many family and friends. And I know he'll be a big loss in our community and certainly a big loss to the Rotary as well. So I certainly want to send our condolences on behalf of the town of Conception Bay South to him and his family. The other thing I wanted to talk about, and I've noticed it recently, and I don't know how we go about capturing some of this, but recently on social media in particular, people have been sharing old photos of Conception Bay South. And I enjoy them. I love them. And every time I look, of course, then you have to pick out, try to identify who they are. And it goes back to like families of a long time ago. Butlers, I know just saw one today. There was the Butler family, who were probably one of the earliest settlers of Conception Bay South. So, you know, I think we've got to find a way within the town that people can share these photos, that we can archive them, and maybe it's something that we can take on and pass to a committee to archive these photos and keep them on record and share them at some point, because it is our culture and our history. And, you know, while these pictures are now so easily transferable through the internet and so on, it'd be great to have some kind of a warehouse to, I guess, to show the history of our town. And I really enjoy them, so I encourage people to keep sharing them. And I'm going to ask one of our committees in the next few weeks to come up with some kind of a mechanism whereby we can accept photos that people want to share with some details and information, and develop some kind of a catalog or historical thing so that people can come on and go on the Conception Bay South and even see old pictures of whether that's the Devil's Jackstone or whether it's family pictures of, or just old roads and the way the communities used to look around here from years ago. So I want to encourage people to keep sharing their pictures, and hopefully in the coming weeks and months, we can find a way to capture that from a town perspective. Also, of course, I have to mention the water leaks, and we just finished a detailed meeting before we started the public one. And, you know, it's certainly noted. It seems like this year, I've never heard tell of seen as many leaks before, but I'm told from time to time this happens. I don't know if it's because of the way the thaw works or the amount of water in the ground. And I guess but it seems like every 2, 3, 4 years, we'll have a year that's not very good. And I guess this year is one of those years. We've had multiple leaks all over the town. We've been assured that it's not because of extra pressures or extra anything else. We have multiple pressure valves throughout the town that keeps track of that stuff. So it's just one of those years, unfortunately. So I want to, you know, acknowledge the inconvenience that many of our residents will probably face over the next coming weeks, or hopefully it won't be that long, but hopefully the next week or so we have 2 more major breaks. So please bear with us. We're getting it fixed as fast as we possibly can, and we understand that what an inconvenience this is. And I guess it all ties back to our Public Works Week again. Some of the things that they provide to us. So again, please bear with us. We're on it, and we'll get it done as quick as we possibly can. And that's about it for me. For this, so moving right along. Next, we have recommendations of the Planning and Development Committee Chair, Councillor Rex Hillier.
Yes, Your Worship, these are recommendations coming from our meeting held on May 12th. Number 1, acquisition of property at 37 All Saints Road, Foxtrot. Be it so resolved that approval be given subject to acceptance of an offer to enter into a purchase and sale agreement for property located at 37 All Saints Road, Foxtrot, at a cost of $39,900. The land is required for future infrastructure upgrading. Funds are available in capital out of revenue. So move.
Second.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes, Your Worship, this property is on the corner of All Saints Road and Ocean View, I believe it is, an intersecting street. There was a fire there this year. The building has been taken out of it. The property is up for sale, and we find like the intersecting street has a very narrow exit, narrow street, and we'll be using this to widen that street and make it safer, intersecting with All Saints Road.
I'm sure all the area residents will be happy to hear it, because you're right, that was a real narrow street.
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Your Worship, I would like to declare a conflict of interest on the next item because I reside on Kennedy's Road. So the
Okay,
host can put me in the waiting room and I'll come back.
Yep, the host is going to remove Deputy Mayor Murphy, and then we can ask for him to come back, and the host will bring him back. I had a conversation with the administrator earlier today about this, actually. Sorry, carry on.
Yes, Your Worship. Number 2, sale of town-owned land, 36 to 40 Kennedy's Road, Upper Gullies. Be so resolved that the town seek proposals for the sale of approximately 570 square meters of town land at 36 to 40 Kennedy's Road, Upper Gullies, based on a limited call for bids from the two abutting properties owners, in consideration that council is of the opinion that the land is surplus to the needs of the town and that the land is of minimal value to anyone other than the adjacent property owner. So moved.
Seconder,
Second.
discussion?
Yes, Your Worship, this is a piece of property that came into the town's hands some time ago. We've decided that it's surplus to our needs, and really what we're doing, we're offering it up to either person, either one of the property owners on either side of that property for purchase.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Number 3, Your Worship, proposed dwelling 11 Mager Place, Chamberlain's, Ward 1, recommendation. Your Worship, I can't see the entire recommendation there. There we go. Be it so resolved that the request for approval of a building permit for a house that would result in an average building line setback of 8.66 meters and an average rear yard depth of 8.64 meters be refused, as the proposed front and rear setbacks are in excess of the maximum 10% variances that can be considered by the town. So moved.
Seconder,
Second.
discussion?
Yes, Your Worship, what all this means basically is that the house is too big for the lot.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
And Your Worship, the blanket recommendation, be it so resolved that the recommendations, decisions made at the Planning and Development Committee meeting of May 12, 2020 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder,
Second.
discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, Councillor Hillier. Recommendations of Engineering and Public Works, Chair Councillor Junior Bursey.
Thanks, Your Worship. We got two this evening. The first one is the Lawrence Pond Road Upgrade Phase 2 approval for tender. Recommendation: let it be resolved that approval be given to proceed with the Lawrence Pond Road Upgrade Phase 3 public tender call.
Second,
Second.
discussion?
Yes, Your Worship. The Lawrence Pond Road Phase 3 upgrade tender approval. This work is the continuation of the completed 2018-2019 upgrade work. Upgrades include stormwater infrastructure, road widening, sidewalks, and traffic calming device. Anticipated work will begin this summer, and all construction updates will be posted on the town's website as they become available.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
And the second one's Your Worship, is the coastal recommendation. Be it so resolved that the approval be given to enter into a prompt consult agreement with Progressive Engineering Consultants for the January 2020 storm damage assessment at approximately cost of $13,000 plus HST.
Seconder,
Second.
discussion?
Yes, Your Worship, again, as part of the continuing work from January 2020 storm event, a detailed engineering analysis of the coastline and infrastructure is required. The evaluation will include coastal stabilization, infrastructure protection, bridge structure inspection, and trailway evaluation. The report is expected to be completed next month. As part of the evaluation, town is focused to open trailway system as quickly as possible when deemed safe to do so. Thanks, Your Worship.
Yeah, just on that, I've had a couple of people reach out to me, people like yourself, Councillor Butler, who use the trails quite regularly. I mean, a lot of us use it quite regularly. And one of the things we've asked the staff to do is go out and do an assessment, because it seems like, and it looks like, just with taking a small piece of heavy equipment, you could quickly just clear off enough that people could walk on in certain pieces of the trail. Engineers have had a look at it, and there's a lot of it that's still not safe to do it. So as much as we'd like to get it open, I think they're still evaluating maybe little pieces that we could do to do smaller loops and so on with the summer approaching. But I thought we could possibly do a lot more of it. Maybe not up to what I'll call Grand Concourse standard like it previously was. I thought that maybe in the interim, while we're waiting for some of this, there was little pieces that we could do. Not as much as I would have liked, but apparently they're still going to have a look and see if there's anything that can be done. But unfortunately, because of washouts and bank stabilization and so on, that's just not possible in most of the areas. And even though it may look safe and seem safe, obviously there's people who are, have an education in this and certainly understands this stuff more than I do anyway, and more than a lot of others, I guess. So it's not lost on us that we can't restore that we don't want to restore it, or for some reason we're not restoring it. Nothing could be further from the truth. And it's just that when it's safe to do so, as Councillor Bursey said, we'll certainly do it as quickly as we possibly can.
And last from the.
Just 1 second, Councillor.
Oh.
1 second, Councillor Bursey. I wanted to vote on that now, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those against? Motion carried. All right, Councillor Bursey.
Yeah. Sorry about that, Your Worship. And the last was just a blanket recommendation. Be it so resolved that the recommendations and decisions made at the Engineering and Public Works Committee meeting held on May 12, 2020 be accepted as presented.
Seconder?
Second, Your Worship.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
That's it for me, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Bursey. Recommendations of the Recreation and Leisure Services Committee. Chair, Councillor Kirk Uden.
Just a couple of things before the blanket recommendation. Just an update to the public in the sense that we held our first open mic, virtual open mic night, and I'd like to thank Stephen Pretty. He did a great job at hosting that with staff. Stephen's a local musician, involved in several things in the community, but he did a great job. I believe they had 9 performers, and like trivia and some other things we're doing. Our staff are going to throw things out and to try to entertain and so forth. And I think that might be one of them that we try from time to time in the future. The last thing I would say is that our Foodie Friday program, which we share recipes and so forth, there's an art contest. So kids from 6 to 12 can submit an entry, and we're going to put that as the cover of a cookbook when we publish at a later date. So get your crayons, get your artistic supplies out, and submit us a cover for our cookbook. All that being said, Your Worship, the blanket recommendation is be resolved that the recommendations decisions made at the Recreation and Leisure Services meeting of May 11, 2020 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder?
Second, Your Worship.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Uden. Next, we have recommendations to Financial Administration Services Committee. Chair, Deputy Mayor Richard Murphy.
Thank you, Your Worship. Recommendations, meeting held on May the 12th, 2020. The accounts payable check register, be it so resolved that approval be given to pay accounts payable checks totaling $145,163.92. So moved.
Seconder?
Second.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
The next one is the ratification of manual checks previously released. Be it so resolved that approval be given to ratify the payment of manual checks previously released totaling $253,721.96. So moved.
Second,
Second.
discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Next item is concerning capital invoices. Be it so resolved that approval be given to pay capital invoices totaling $7,499.24 as per the attached table. So moved.
Seconder,
Second.
Second.
discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Tax and other receivables adjustments. Be it so resolved that approval be given to adjust tax and other receivable accounts as follows. And the 3 accounts are so noted. 2 are approved, 1 is denied. So moved.
Seconder,
Second that.
Second.
discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
And I have another one, Your Worship, that's coming out of our committee of the whole meeting this afternoon. And it's concerning some fees for general work around people's properties. The town of Conception Bay South recognizes that these are challenging times for its residents and businesses. As a result, council has made the decision to waive permit fees for renovations, fences, and accessory buildings. Council strives to reduce the financial burden for its residents and believes that the best place for residents' money is in their own pockets. This is certainly the case during these challenging times. This summer, many people will not be taking vacations in the traditional manner, so this could be a great time to invest in upgrades to their homes. By eliminating permit fees, residents may now feel more inclined and be in a better financial position to make home renovations. This will subsequently help support local businesses as well. Residents are reminded that they are still required to make permit applications and comply with the development regulations. Even in these hard times, the town continues to accept permits and in some areas is doing better than last year. The town of Conception Bay South has a residential property mill rate of 7.15, the lowest of any comparable municipality in the province. The town also has the lowest water and sewer tax rate of all the major communities on the Northeast Avalon and has eliminated residential building permit fees in 2020 for anyone wishing to build here. These are all examples of how this council is trying to make life more affordable for our residents. Therefore, Your Worship, I am very pleased to bring forward the following resolution. Be it so resolved that approval be given to waive permit fees for decks, fences, general repairs, and accessory buildings for the remainder of the 2020 fiscal year becoming effective June the 1st, 2020. So moved.
Seconder,
Second.
discussion? Because I think it's a great initiative that we're taking on here, and especially in light of COVID and the economy the way it is. This helps obviously local business where people can go out and buy paint or fencing or build on pieces of their home or garages or sheds. And I think it's a great initiative. Remember, you still have to apply for a permit, obviously, because there's regulations that we have to abide by for the good of all of us. However, this is another thing as a council, I think, that we've stepped up to the plate for local residents and given, I guess, the town of Conception Bay South a place that people want to live. And everything that we can do as a council, we're doing it to make sure that happens. And note to people who are considering moving that, you know, we're there to help and whatever we can to encourage people to build in our town or to fix up their properties or enhance their properties. Especially in times like this, there's probably more people home looking at things that need to be done, like working from home and so on. So hopefully this will help that, and certainly at the same time stir the economy a little bit as well. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those. Thank you, Council. Did you hear me then? I was on the mute. I think I had mute on then. Sorry about that.
You did so, sir. Couldn't hear a word.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Okay,
Thank
one
you
more,
very
Your
much.
No, hang on. Now there's one more.
Oh, gee. Yes,
Yeah,
so it is. Carry on. You got me thrown off.
Okay, here we go. Be it so resolved that the recommendations and decisions made at the Financial and Administrative Services Committee meeting of May 12th, 2020 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder,
Second.
I'll second.
discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Now you're free to go, sir.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Murphy. Last but certainly not least, we have the recommendations of the Economic and Development and Tourism Committee Chair, Councillor Christine Butler.
My, what was that choo-choo train? Hello. That threw me off. Thank you, Your Worship. Okay, we have our blanket recommendation, but as usual, Economic Development and Tourism Department are always very busy behind the scenes. So just a couple of highlights and updates before I read the blanket recommendation. Some of you may have seen on our web page, on our Facebook page, that we shared a page, Welcome to the Neighbor Good. In conjunction with neighboring chambers and municipalities, the town is proud to be part of the Neighbor Good, which was officially launched last week. It's been a tough couple of months. While we have all been doing our part to stay home and keep each other safe, many of our local businesses have had to close their physical locations, not only in our town, but in the entire region. These businesses are the heart of our community. Now more than ever, they need our support. The neighborgood.ca, an online hub to promote community businesses deemed as your local Amazon. You can find links to the neighborgood.ca circulating on our social media platforms. On the business outreach, the support from economic development staff and the Chamber of Commerce to the business community in continual and includes sharing of information in the form of webinars, funding sources, collaboration opportunities, and general support. In the last month, staff have sent approximately 20 emails to 430 businesses on our email list. Last week, a poll of the business community indicated a need for information on reopening and recovery, access to PPE, and accounting/cash flow and debt solutions. The next series of webinar offerings will be around those topics. And with so many looking at doing staycations this summer, we have a little update on our tourism map. In 2020, the concept of staycation is trending. The town welcomes all visitors to the town to take in its abundant trails and natural beauty, while of course practicing social distancing. In the coming weeks, we will launch our new tourism map, which will outline places to visit, trails to explore, and locations for iconic photos and opportunities to learn about the history of our beautiful town, especially our beautiful sunsets. We are excited about our new tourism map, which was conceptualized from our tourism development strategy. And Your Worship, I'll read the blanket recommendation held from a meeting of May 12th, 2020. Be it so resolved that the recommendations, decisions made at the Economic Development and Tourism Committee meeting of May 12th, 2020 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Second.
No.
All in favor, Your Worship?
You're on mute again, Your Worship.
Funny, I never missed that all. The last couple, I've been slow to the trigger. I keep forgetting that I shuts myself up.
Yeah, so we try so hard.
I got to get one of them buttons for all the time. Share it with the family. All right, we'll try this again. Seconder,
Second.
discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Butler. Okay, moving on. Other committee reports? There being none, call for a motion to adjourn.
So
So moved.
Seconded.
Second.
Thank you very much, guys. Have a good night. Thanks very much for taking part. I guess we'll be doing this for the next few months by the look of the stages, but everyone out there continue to be safe, and hopefully this will end quicker than that. So again, thanks very much, and good night, everybody.
Night.
Take care, guys.
Good night. Take care.
You know.